James Garner was born James Scott Bumgarner on April 7, 1928, in Norman, Oklahoma, during a time when survival itself was a daily challenge. Growing up amid the Great Depression, Garner's early life was marked by instability and loss. His mother passed away when he was only 5 years old, leaving a wound that never fully healed, while his father struggled to hold the family together. Much of Garner's youth was spent moving between relatives, learning early how to adapt and fend for himself. He worked odd jobs, quit school young, and developed a quiet resilience shaped not by ambition, but necessity. These experiences didn't harden him. Instead, they gave him empathy, humility, and an understanding of ordinary people. Long before Hollywood ever noticed him, Garner had already learned the value of persistence, dignity, and emotional restraint, qualities that would later define both his performances and his character. War, service, and the making of inner strength. Before acting ever crossed his mind, James Garner served his country with courage and resolve. As a teenager, he joined the Merchant Marine and later enlisted in the U.S. Army during the Korean War. Combat left a deep mark on him, earning him 2 Purple Hearts, but it also shaped his worldview. Garner rarely spoke dramatically about his service. He believed real heroism didn't need embellishment. The war taught him discipline, teamwork, and an enduring respect for working people, values that never left him. He carried physical pain from his injuries for the rest of his life, yet refused to let them define him. Instead, those experiences grounded him. When Garner later portrayed soldiers, detectives, or everyday men standing up to injustice, there was authenticity in his restraint. He understood fear, responsibility, and sacrifice firsthand, and that understanding quietly informed every role he took on. An accidental path to acting. James Garner's journey into acting was never part of a grand plan. After returning from military service, he moved to Los Angeles simply looking for work. He modeled occasionally, took odd jobs, and helped friends rehearse lines, never imagining it would lead anywhere. One chance encounter with a talent agent changed everything. Garner had no formal training and no theatrical ego, but he possessed something rarer: ease. He didn't perform masculinity, he embodied it naturally. Early television roles taught him through trial and error, and instead of overacting, he learned to underplay. That instinct became his signature. Garner once said he succeeded because he listened more than he spoke, and that philosophy shaped his career. He wasn't trying to be larger than life. He was simply believable. In an industry filled with polish and pretense, his authenticity made him quietly magnetic. Maverick and the reinvention of the Western hero. In 1957, James Garner became a household name with the television series Maverick. As Brett Maverick, he upended the traditional Western hero archetype. Instead of brute force, his character relied on wit, charm, and intelligence. Audiences immediately connected with this refreshing approach. Garner's Maverick was reluctant to fight, quick with humor, and refreshingly human. It wasn't a performance, it was an extension of who he was. The show's success made Garner a star almost overnight, but fame never altered his temperament. He remained grounded, skeptical of Hollywood excess, and loyal to his values. Maverick proved that strength didn't have to be loud, and courage didn't require swagger. It also set the tone for Garner's career. He would consistently choose roles that emphasize character over spectacle. In doing so, he helped redefine what audiences expected from leading men. A film career built on versatility and integrity. The 1960s cemented James Garner as one of Hollywood's most dependable stars. He transitioned seamlessly into film, appearing in romantic comedies, dramas, and action films without losing credibility in any genre. Whether starring alongside Doris Day in lighthearted comedies or holding his own in The Great Escape, Garner brought subtlety and warmth to every role. He never chased awards or prestige. Instead, he chose projects that felt honest. Directors trusted him, co-stars respected him, and crews admired his professionalism. Garner's performances were never flashy, yet deeply effective. He had an instinctive understanding of timing and emotional restraint. Unlike many contemporaries, he avoided cultivating an image and focused instead on doing good work. That consistency earned him longevity in an industry known for discarding talent quickly. Garner didn't dominate scenes. He anchored them, and that made him unforgettable. The Rockford Files and A New Kind of Hero. In the 1970s, James Garner reinvented television heroism once again with The Rockford Files. As Jim Rockford, a private investigator who preferred conversation over confrontation, Garner delivered one of television's most enduring performances. Rockford was flawed, weary, sarcastic, and relatable, a far cry from invincible detectives of the era. Garner performed many of his own stunts, often at great physical cost, but never complained publicly. The role earned him an Emmy and deepened his connection with audiences. Rockford wasn't glamorous, he was human. That honesty resonated. Garner understood that audiences didn't want perfection. They wanted truth. His performance balanced humor and fatigue, competence and vulnerability. Even as the show taxed his health, he remained committed to its integrity. The Rockford Files didn't just entertain, it redefined realism on television and solidified Garner's place as a master of understated storytelling. A love story that endured. Hollywood? James Garner's personal life mirrored the steadiness of his screen presence. He married Lois Clark in 1956 after just 16 days of dating, a decision that surprised many but proved enduring. Their marriage lasted nearly 6 decades, surviving fame, separation, and life's inevitable strains. Garner often spoke of Lois as his anchor, the person who kept him grounded when Hollywood felt overwhelming. Their relationship was not without challenges, including brief separations, but mutual respect and commitment always brought them back together. Lois preferred privacy and stability, qualities Garner deeply valued. Together, they built a family rooted in loyalty rather than spectacle. Garner embraced his role as a stepfather, and later as a devoted father, finding purpose beyond his career. In an industry notorious for instability, their marriage stood as quiet proof that lasting love was still possible. James Garner on Randolph Scott. Respect without rumor, James Garner rarely spoke publicly about fellow actors, but when asked about Randolph Scott, his tone was thoughtful and respectful. He described Scott as deeply private, disciplined, and often misunderstood. Garner admired Scott's professionalism, noting that he treated everyone on set with equal respect and never sought attention. He believed Scott's reserved nature led people to project assumptions onto him, but Garner dismissed gossip entirely. What mattered to him was Scott's integrity and consistency. Scott, in Garner's view, represented a kind of masculinity rooted in dignity rather than performance. He didn't chase trends or adapt to please others, he simply did his work well. Garner respected that steadfastness. His comments were not revelations meant to shock, but reflections meant to clarify. He reminded audiences that silence should not be mistaken for secrecy, and privacy should always be respected. Later years, legacy, and quiet grace. In his later years, James Garner continued working with the same humility that defined his early career. Roles in films like Murphy's Romance and The Notebook showcased his emotional depth and maturity, earning critical praise and new generations of fans. Off-screen, he advocated for actors' rights and fairness in the industry, often challenging studio practices he felt were unjust. As his health declined, Garner withdrew from public life, preferring privacy and family. Lois remained by his side, caring for him with devotion. When Garner passed away on July 19, 2014, just shy of his wedding anniversary, Hollywood lost not just a star, but a standard. He left behind a legacy built on honesty, professionalism, and kindness. James Garner proved that you didn't need to be loud to be lasting, and that quiet strength often speaks the loudest.